Water rides are arguably the most popular amusement rides on hot days. They're refreshing while still offering mild thrills. But the best water rides are so good that they're worth experiencing in any weather. These ones tend to have dark ride elements or better thrill features. So in this video, I will rank the top 25 best water rides I have personally experienced. This list will not include any water slides. I will have a separate countdown for those. This list will include water roller coasters, log flumes, river rapids rides, and some dark rides. The latter qualified for the list if they had an aquatic ride system and also featured a thrill element like a drop. Number 25, Daredevil Falls at Dollywood. I love this Hopkins super flume. The final drop is one of the best of any log ride, standing 66 feet or 20 meters tall, and it features a 60-degree angle. You get a tiny pop of airtime, and I love how it's placed on a well-landscaped hill. The overall aesthetics of this ride are top-notch because you have a long tunnel at the start, a scenic course, and the occasional bit of theming. Number 24, Excalibur at Movie Park Germany. This Intamin River Rapids ride is pretty poor as a rapids ride because there are barely any rapids or soaking elements. You just have some mild sprayers. However, the familiar ride system is used to create an engaging dark ride. You have these giant and grand sets you travel through. The scale of them is astounding, and those visuals are what make this ride special. Number 23, Bedawan Jungbrunnen at Erlebnis Park Tripsdrill. This mock log flume has one of the most bizarre themes of any ride. Themed to bathing, you ride in bathtubs and pass naked women who are taking baths. That's something you'd never see in America. The ride also has 3 drops, including a sweet backwards one and a giant final one with an itty-bitty pop of airtime. Number 22, Legend of the Labyrinth at Lagoon Asia. Unfortunately, I have no video footage of this log flume, but it featured an extended indoor bit with dragons, temples, and star tunnels. Then the ride also has a surprise backwards drop, plus a decent outdoor one to round out the ride. Number 21, Timber Mountain Log Ride at Knott's Berry Farm. This aero creation takes place in and around a mountain, so you have all sorts of visuals. There are animatronics both indoors and outdoors, but the indoor scenes in particular are the highlight for me. There's a surprise drop that's the ride's best thrill element, and then you also have an okay final plunge. Number 20, Vliehende Hollander at Efteling. This hybrid flume and roller coaster has an incredible atmosphere. The queue line is detailed and the soundtrack is perfect. The dark ride section at the start is super dark and it's misty to capture the feel of being lost at sea. There's a zippy indoor drop, and while the outdoor drops are just okay, they do provide more thrills than your average log flume. Number 19, Fluke des Ferro at Belantis. This Hafima creation is a quirky amalgamation of ride types. You have rapids like a river rapids ride, then you ride in dinghy boats like a water slide, and those boats flex and bob with the water. You then have a short dark ride segment inside this giant pyramid, and you have a course reminiscent of a log flume, complete with a thrilling final plunge that gives a pop of airtime. And then you have a spiral whirlpool element with good laterals for good measure. The ride's only weakness is the lack of theming on the indoor bit, but the ride system makes this ride special, and I talk about more in a separate review. Number 18, Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld Orlando. This mock water coaster starts with a wonderfully themed dark ride bit. While the story is incoherent, the physical sets and music are beautiful. Then you have a thrilling 60-foot or 18-meter drop that gives a pop of airtime. You then head back indoors for the final drop, which is a twisting coaster plunge. Just watch out for the front row if you hate water, because that row will get drenched on this evil little dip halfway through the ride. Number 17, Pirates of the Caribbean at the Disney Parks. This boat ride features one okay drop along the course, at least, but this one is more about the visuals. You pass these highly detailed and busy sets loaded with pirate animatronics performing all sorts of hijinks. It is impossible to capture all the detail on one ride, and this is a classic for a reason. Number 16, Flintstones Bedrock River Adventure at Warner Bros. World Abu Dhabi. This is basically Pirates of the Caribbean with the Flintstones characters. You have large detailed sets, mixing animatronics and statues, and the ride culminates in a decent final plunge with a splashdown. Number 15, Frozen Ever After at Epcot. The refresh of the Maelstrom is a lovely dark ride. The animatronics are stunning. The way Olaf and the princesses move is unbelievable. Frozen is one of the best soundtracks of any film, and the music is perfectly translated to this ride. And then you have two drops, one backwards and one forwards. The drops aren't really thrilling, but they appropriately move the story along, and they're paired with amazing visuals. Number 14, Piraten in Batavia at Europa Park. This is a quote-unquote Pirates of the Caribbean ripoff, but I prefer it to the original. You have an okay small drop at the start, and then you have similarly expansive and detailed sets, but the effects are more modern and flashy on this one since it was recently rebuilt. Number 13, Infinity Falls at SeaWorld Orlando. This Intamin River Rapids ride is a soaker, but it's still a ton of fun. It's a long ride with tons of powerful rapids. You are not coming off this ride dry. And then you have the iconic drop at the end that builds up good speed for a river rapids ride. Along with a strong course, you also have wonderful landscaping and music to accentuate the experience. Number 12, Zoom Flume at Morey's Piers. Somehow, Hopkins crammed the super long log flume onto a boardwalk. The route goes above rides and also under the boardwalk, so you get some really neat visuals. And then you have two sizable drops that have some nice zip to them. Number 11, Splash UFO at Yomiuriland. This is a funky indoor Hafima Rapids ride themed to a noodle factory. You have some animatronics and screens, but what stands out most are the thrills. You have a perilously steep indoor plunge plus a whirlpool. Both are fast and soaking. Number 10, Nagashima Suka at Fuji-Q Highland. This is another ride that I unfortunately do not have video footage of, but it's another wild Hafima Rapids ride. You have a terrifying steep plunge off the lift, a water slide-like section, a double down, and a whirlpool. All four of these elements feel out of control, and they produce massive soaking splashes. Number 9, River Quest at Phantasialand. This Hafima Rapids ride has barely any rapids. Instead, this one has 3 crazy drops. The first one pinballs you down the side of the drop. The second is a super fast whirlpool, followed by a steep sudden plunge that can give airtime and throw you across the raft if you're not holding on. The third is another super steep plunge. All 3 are absolute soakers, and the drops feel completely untamed, plus you have a little bit of theming too. Number 8, Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls at Islands of Adventure. Universal's log flume has a lot of similarities to Splash Mountain. You have some smaller indoor drops with good zip, and you have a little theming sprinkled throughout. I'm personally not a big fan of the artistic style of the figures, but they do add to the experience. The highlight though is the incredible final plunge that gives a pop of airtime going down, and even more airtime on the speed hill right before the splashdown. And just know you're going to come off this ride comically soaked. Number 7, Rio Bravo at Parque Warner Madrid. This Intamin log flume has some mild western theming along the outdoor section, but the highlight are the 2 drops. The 66-foot or 20-meter tall plunge gives a tiny pop of airtime, but the crazy drop occurs earlier in the ride. You have a zippy backwards plunge followed by a very shocking bunny hill. You get a legitimate pop of ejector airtime, which is downright terrifying because you have 0 restraints. It took my breath away. Number 6, Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges at Islands of Adventure. This may be the wettest ride in the world. The route has a devilish mix of giant rapids, drenching waterfalls, and thematic sprayers. Along with the water elements, you also have some cartoony theming, and the extended downhill slope after the lift hill builds up considerable speed, and it really feels like you're capsizing from how wild it is. Number 5, Valhalla at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. This indoor Intamin flume is a spectacle. You have these impressive atmospheric and fire effects. The story is near impossible to follow, but the large visuals are so strong that I just don't care. And the ride has two great drops too. The first is tall with a pop of airtime, while the second one is a fun double down. And no, you will come off this ride absolutely soaked. Number 4, Jurassic River Adventure at the Universal Parks. I really like both Jurassic World and Jurassic Park River Adventure, and I cannot decide which is better. Jurassic World has an astounding final sequence with a massive Indominus Rex and the T-Rex fighting each other. But I like the outdoor segment better on the original Jurassic Park ride, as you have the music and large dinosaur animatronics. Then both versions feature the large gut-wrenching plunge in the dark at the end. It's one of the best drops on any water ride. Number 3, Chiapas of Phantasialand. This Intamin log flume is ornately decorated and themed as you wind your way around and through caves. And you also have a party-like dark ride section too mixed in. Then this one also has some great drops going both forwards and backwards, with the highlight being the 66-foot or 20-meter tall plunge that gives a little pop of airtime. Then you get positive G's on the pullout and shoot over a speed hill with some more airtime. Number 2, Log Chute at Nickelodeon Universe. I cannot believe this log flume exists in a mall. It has all the elements of Knott's Timber Mountain, but done better. You have a great soundtrack, plus some huge animatronics, and you also have that odd visual of the mall mixed in. Then the Hopkins ride system features two very good drops. I go into more detail in a separate review, but this ride is the complete package. And coming in at number 1 is Splash Mountain at the Disney parks. This is not only the best water ride, but it's one of the best rides in the entire world. The ride has a wonderful story told through a catchy soundtrack and an unbelievable amount of high quality animatronics. Plus you have several drops too. The smaller ones have a little bit of zip to them, and the ride culminates in an exciting final plunge. You have that famous visual of plunging into the foggy briar patch, and the drop also has some punch to it. I like Tokyo and Florida's version better for their ride system, but Disneyland's is a ton of fun too. It's just way more soaking if you ride up front. I go into more detail on all these versions in a separate review, but I love this ride so much. So those are my top 25 favorite water rides in the entire world. What is your favorite water ride? Let me know if you think I missed any down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.